Usually in Loft tool, it is recommended that you use equal number of segments for the profiles which you are using. So in this case, as you can see, I'm using a hexagon here with 6 separate segments here. But then on the other end, we have an ellipse. Now ellipse is of course made with just single curve here. And if you try making Loft, of course you can make it for sure, but you won't have a better control over the points which are going to connect from this segment to this. Now, if you want to control the way this loft is created, then you can first divide this kind of segments into an equal number of parts, and then later you can connect those points. Now, there are two options for doing the same. One is the segment sketch tool, which will let you divide it all in equal number of segments of equal length, and the second one is a split tool, which will let you divide it manually with unequal segment lengths. Let's just first talk about the segment tool. So for segment tool, you need to first start the sketch and just go to its sketch tool. So now we are in the sketch environment. Go to tools and sketch tool, and right here we have the segment tool. Select the segment tool and now select the sketch which you want to split. Now specify a number of points or number of segments. In this case, I have already selected 6, but if this number is something else and you want to change it, you can just type in a number. Now this should be a whole number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Now we have two options. One is sketch points. When you select that, SolidWorks will just add separate points and it's not going to actually split the segment into 6 parts. But if you select sketch segments, it will split this segment into 6 equal parts. In this case, we do want to split it. We don't want to add simple points here. So I'll select sketch segment and click OK. And now if you hover your cursor, you can see that we are now selecting separate segments. So it is now divided into 6 separate segments. All right, let's exit out of this sketch, and now we are ready to create our loft. But before that, let's just fix this center line. So I'll just select edit and I'll just delete this coincident constraint from here and I'll move it to this center point. Exit out of this sketch. All right, now let's go to loft, and here we have the first segment, and then here I'm going to select the second one right here. Let's go to center line and select this as the center line, and we've got this loft. Now to control the shape of this loft properly, you can also move these anchor points. So you can just move it the way you want, and you can also see these split points. So it is now clearly visible and you can just move it wherever you want. So in this case, I just want to move it here so that all of these are completely streamlined and in such a way that it is completely uniform in shape. So from all the sides, it is completely touching the other profile with equal segment length. All right, so that's the segment tool. Now I'll click OK, and here we are, we've got this profile. Now what if you don't want this kind of uniform length all the way around? Maybe here in this case we want larger length here on the top, and here also on the bottom we want larger lengths, and here we just want smaller segments. In that case, you can use the split entities tool. So let me press Ctrl Z a couple of times so that we are back to that sketch, and once again and one more time, and here we are. Now we have just one ellipse. All right, so now once again we'll split it. So I'll go to tools, sketch tools, and here I'll select split entities, which is right here. All right, now you can specify the points which you want to use for splitting this. So in this case, we just want to split using this as the point. So randomly I'm clicking here, then the second point is here, then another point here, and finally here. All right, right now it is only dividing this complete thing into 4 segments. We want 6. So I'll just select these 2 points, this and this. As you can see now, we have these 2 tiny segments and then these 2 very large segments, and that's what we want. So now I'll exit out of this and exit out of this sketch as well. All right, now look at the center line. It looks like it's properly aligned. Maybe we can just fix it a little bit. So I'll just select it and I'll just delete this coincident constraint here. All right, and just move it to the center. There we are. Exit out of this sketch. And once again, let's create loft. So I'll go to loft, and here it is. And this should touch this part of the drawing. Then center line parameter, and this is the center line, and we are done. And now as you can see, we have a completely different kind of loft. So in this case, this is really kind of a big segment here, and then we have another big segment here, and all the other geometries are touching it, well, like this. So we have a smaller segment here, these two smaller segments, and then we have these two smaller segments connecting it right here. So if you want a completely different kind of sketch, just by changing the way this profile is split, you can create a completely different kind of loft in this case. So I'll just click OK, and we now have a different lofted profile here. So that's how you can use split entities and segment sketch tool. Now this is one use case of split entities and segment sketch tool. You can use this for several other 3D as well as 2D features in SolidWorks.